Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about our next major storm that's going to be rolling through the United States. This will likely include multiple days of severe weather and also flooding threats as well. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, what is the highest severe weather risk you think we will have next week? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now, we did the stream over on Direct Weather 2 yesterday. You can check that out. I'm going to leave that in a link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. We also have a Discord server up, so go ahead and join that today to be a part of the discussion. I'm going to be talking in there a little bit this morning. Be sure to join that. It's a lot of fun. We're taking a look at our temperature anomalies here. We have above average temperature anomalies out west and below average temperature anomalies out east. This is no surprise because obviously it's very cold outside. It's 37 right now in Virginia when I'm making this video at 6:49 right now. So very, very cold compared to what is typical for early April here in Virginia. And I'm sure it's feeling a lot warmer than what's typical out west. Now, we're going to have a big flip up in the pattern because that is not very favorable for stormy conditions, and that's why it's been quite dry the last couple of days, and it will likely remain that way for a couple of more days as well. But by the time we're reaching about, I would say 8 p.m. here on Wednesday, April 7th, you can see things switch up a lot. We get a lot of above average temperatures out east and out west, and we have a little bit of some below normal temperatures in the central United States there, as well as the immediate west coast there. Here's kind of what the upper air pattern looks like right now. And as you can see, it's a split jet pattern. We don't have a lot of storms rolling through. We do have some cold there for the East Coast as well as some storminess in the eastern United States. But generally, a very quiet pattern here. By the time we're reaching about the weekend, next weekend, you can see that we are going to be taking a look at a merged jet pattern. We can see the southern jet and the northern jet connect there over the four corner states and then form a very strong jet. And this is what's going to really fuel that activity that we're expecting later next week. So this is a much more favorable pattern for severe weather activity and also storminess. Just to kind of validate what I've been saying here, this is what the simulated radar looks like by about 11 a.m. today on Saturday, April 3rd. Take a look at that. This is about as quiet as it gets. Really nothing much going on. We do have some thunderstorms and showers there for Texas. Outside of that, I mean, maybe some high pressure if you consider that interesting. I mean, we're in a really, really boring pattern here. So overall, very, very boring pattern. But by the time we're reaching about very late on Wednesday, this is going to be about 11 p.m. or so there on Wednesday, April 7th. Take a look at that. We get a very strong storm, a 995 millibar low pressure center with precipitation basically extending from the Dakotas through Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, down through Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, and even maybe Louisiana. So stretching very far around there, multiple states seeing precipitation. Once we get that pattern and a much more interesting overall pattern that's going to allow for some storminess to roll through. It's going to be night and day. We're going to see a major flip up in the pattern as we approach the middle portion of April. This first little chunk of April seems quite boring to say the least. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at those categorical outlooks for days 1, 2, 3, and 5, where we have a interesting thing to talk about. And then we're going to move through with the modeled guidance and take a look at some of those severe weather threats moving forward. Alright, now here we are taking a look at that general thunderstorm risk there for New Mexico and Texas. That's going to be going on today, so Saturday and through very early on Sunday as well. Again, that's where we do have those showers and thunderstorms, so that's why that is there. But everywhere else, I mean, very, very slow going. Sunday, that's going to be Easter. So happy Easter, everybody. Happy early Easter, that is. We're going to have some general thunderstorms up there for the upper Midwest. Some there in between Colorado and New Mexico, and a little bit down there for western Texas. Very interesting to see those tiny general thunderstorm risks in like very odd areas. So very, very boring but odd on Sunday. Now, for Monday, we get a little more interesting. We have a much larger general thunderstorm risk that's going to encompass a lot of that Ohio Valley, a lot of the Great Lakes regions, the upper Midwest, the plains, even going in through the Rockies in some areas. But we also have a marginal risk of severe weather there for Minnesota and Wisconsin. So we will be taking a look at potentially some severe weather there on Monday, and that's going to be April 5th, by the way. So throughout the day, that day, we might have a little bit of a severe weather risk. This does have some potential to expand with that marginal risk. Also has some room for maybe a slight risk in there, but not going to be any sort of tornado outbreak or anything that day. Very, very uh, marginal severe weather risk. There we go. On day 5, so we do have a day 5 probability outlook. They go ahead and skip the day 4. Day 6, 7, 8, I think that there will be severe weather, but they don't have a risk yet. That's a little further out. But for Wednesday, on April 7th, they have a 15% chance there for Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee. That will translate over to a slight risk of severe weather, and that is a quite large slight risk, by the way. So we might even see an enhanced that day. We're going to have to watch and see, but this is an area that has been getting a ton of severe weather so far this year. So we will be watching very, very closely for that. Both Brendan and I will be watching for that mid to late week severe weather threat there. Now, let's go ahead and just move on with that modeled guidance. And this is going to be for early on Wednesday, maybe 4 or 5 a.m. You can see that storm is developing there. We do see some snowfall there for the Rockies. And then some general storms and showers and all sorts of stuff going on there for the plains and the upper Midwest. By this point, we will have some cape around, okay? So maybe 800 to 1,000. I think that there could be some thunderstorms. Again, this is kind of our marginal risk up there around that time, early next week. Now, by time of reaching Wednesday, and remember, this is when we have that 15% chance that translates to a slight risk, we have 1,000 plus cape basically from southern Texas all the way up through Oklahoma, Arkansas, and in through Missouri. And I expect all of these areas to at least have a general thunderstorm risk, probably a marginal risk for a large portion of this, and then again, a slight risk there for portions of Arkansas, Missouri, and surrounding regions as well on that date. So that cape is going to be on the increase throughout the week as we're approaching later into the week. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at those even bigger severe weather risks like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, where I think that things could get even crazier here. All right, now here we are taking a look here at the simulated radar first off. And as you can see, this is still for Wednesday. You can see that there will be some storminess down there where the high amounts of cape are at. So that's why we think this will translate into some severe weather there on Wednesday. By the time we're reaching 2 a.m. on Thursday, you can see this just continues to trek on further eastward. That is that major storm right there over Kansas. Take a look at how it just horseshoes around it. It almost looks like a, I don't even know, like a horseshoe, yeah, there around the state of Kansas and Missouri there. We see precipitation in Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa, down through the Great Lakes, Illinois, and then back around through Tennessee, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas as well, with a very strong low pressure center there. 996 over Iowa. There will be some likely severe weather transitioning through Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee overnight that night. The Cape, by the time we're reaching Thursday morning, is going to be generally around 1,000 to 2,000 there for Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and some 1,000 plus amounts there for Tennessee and Alabama. So as these storms are rolling through overnight into the next morning, I think they will have some fuel available to still remain severe by that point. By the time we're reaching about 3 p.m. on Thursday, you can see that there will be 1,000 to 2,000 amounts widespread throughout the Gulf states now by this point. The temperatures are going to be in the 70s, mid-70s, upper 70s. The dew points will be in the mid to upper 60s. And then this is what the precipitation will look like further into that evening. I think we could have another pretty large severe weather risk, especially there on Thursday, April 8th. That's the next date. That's the next date we're watching here very closely for an enhanced, moderate, or God forbid, another high risk there. For the Gulf states, although the setup as we're speaking right now does not appear to be on par with those two high risks we've had for that area. So I'm thinking more enhanced or moderate for this date is kind of the peak for this one. Hopefully that is the case. By the time we're reaching about 2 or 3 a.m. there on Friday, April 9th, you can see we will have pretty high amounts of cape there for Texas and Louisiana, but that will be kind of coming to an end. And even by the time we're reaching Saturday morning at about 6 a.m., there will still be 1,000 to 2,000 amounts there for the immediate Gulf Coast. So it's going to be interesting to see if any of this translates to a severe weather threat. We do have some precipitation down there as well for Louisiana, Mississippi, very far southern Mississippi there. Very, very interesting. But by the time we get out of this pattern, by the time we're reaching about 8 p.m. on Monday after the weekend is all said and done, this model, the European model, kind of hints at us really closing out and just having not a lot of cape available. So we might get into another quiet period for a few days to begin early 2 weeks from now on around April 12th, 13th time frame. So about 10 days from now, we might get into another quiet pattern. But keep in mind, that is a little bit far out. So it could be pretty active. This could be wrong. But generally, we're thinking we're going to get some activity starting Wednesday and lasting through into the weekend. And that's going to be next week. Anyway, we're going to be going over this, me and Brendan, I'm sure on his channel as well. We're going to be talking about this severe weather threat, but also here we're just going to continue to talk about that severe weather threat. So we're going to keep you guys up to date. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to absolutely destroy the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and also comment down below. Those are things that also help just get this out to more people. Anyway, for our confidence tab today, we are at a 3 out of 6. We've talked about many more longer range things today. Talking about 10 days, 7 to 10 day time frame. So anytime it's like that, you're at about 50-50. I do feel confident there will be some sort of severe weather threat next week, in the mid to later portion of next week. So that I do feel more confident in. But we have talked about some other things, like it closing out and being more quiet in the very long range. So those are some of the things that have brought us down to a 3 out of 6. Obviously, as we continue into next week and continue to talk about this threat, that confidence will go up. So again, continue to stick with us as we just break this down day by day. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys yesterday, because we talked about the hurricane season for the first time yesterday. You can check that out today, by the way, on the channel. That was yesterday's upload. I asked you guys, how do you think the hurricane season is going to go? And Cloudwatcher said, my thoughts on this hurricane season it'll be an above average year, but not historic like last year. And that's kind of what I'm thinking generally. Compared to last year, it's not going to seem that bad, but it will be above average. I'm almost certain of that. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Property Damage, John Benbenick, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Alan Belemo, Adam S., Larry the Pan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, and Eden Mattis, alongside our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Alan Sherry, Marcus Conley, Noah Harley, Michael Codalesa, Michael Buell, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manhart, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Mark J, Luke Flego, Gary's, and John Quilisi. Also, our channel members are Weather Top Dogs, Hair Farms 1, and then also our super fan, Phoenix Nimitz. I want to thank all of you for supporting the channel as well. If you would like to join that channel membership, you can do so by joining that channel membership button down below. Anyway, I want to just remind you guys to share this video, subscribe for more content, as we're going to be walking through the severe weather threat for the days coming up, and also destroy the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.